seasons. And Vince Carter, I noticed you look good in that Raptors uni, and that was when you weren't playing with Richard. So
he looked happier.
There's something there. Vince's former teammate, should I just introduce you that way, Richard?
Yes, please.
Right?
That's how I'm known. You used to play with Vince Carter, didn't you? That's what everyone says.
Richard Jefferson. And, of course, our NBA champ, Kendrick Perkins, is in the house as well.
Oh, we got a smile from Perk.
I'm
we got a smile from
so happy
Perk.
to be with the three of you. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bucks took Game 5 last night. They were led in scoring by Brook Lopez, who dropped 33 points. Dominant inside, and as he scored 26 on 13 of 14 shooting in the paint. Vince, we will start with you because that's your rook from your New Jersey days. What did the Bucks prove to you in that win without Giannis last night?
They proved that they can win and be successful playing out of the post. Look at all those circles. Look where he scored. He scored 26 points in the paint. And not only was it Brook Lopez, it was Drew Holiday, it was Bobby Portis. They dominated and they played bully ball. And they said, okay, we're not going to settle for three-point shots and play outside of the paint. We're going to play in the paint, beat these guys up. And, we're going to defend and get block shots. And they were getting out in transition as well. So in all facets of the game, they were dominating.
Well, look, I have to agree with Vince from this standpoint. When you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, part of the frustration is their inability to kind of make adjustments. That's always been the thing. That's been one of the things that has followed Bud since his days in Atlanta. He's had great teams, great players, but does he make very good in-game and in-series adjustments? But this is something that people have been begging from the Bucks. You have Brook Lopez. You have this size, play inside. He only shot a couple of threes. We know that this is not a formula for every single night for Brook Lopez. That's not how the Bucks play because it allows that spacing for Giannis to work. But there are certain days where there is a clear advantage that Brook Lopez had, and on this night, it wasn't just him, but they could beat you up inside the paint. That is something that isn't utilized nearly enough.
Well, you know what, Rachel and Vince, I'm very disappointed right now. I'm very disappointed in our producers, Steve, Hillary, Nate the Great, Danny, Carlos. I'm disappointed because you know what? Yesterday when I came on the show, at the start of the show, they pulled up receipts. And it was receipts of making Squidward look good. I mean, he was right about what he said and whatever the case may be. But yesterday, when we were on the show and I was talking about, Trae Young being more valuable in this series than Giannis, and he hurried up and said, "Here's why you're wrong."
That's true.
And it turned out
you speak the truth.
Last night showed the world why I was right. I just want y'all to pull up the receipts on RJ as well. But listen, here's the thing.
Thank you for getting to the question.
Brook Lopez can't play in the inside when Giannis is on the floor. That's period point blank. So the thing that I saw last night was I saw a team playing together on the offensive end. It was body movement, it was ball movement, it was, passing up good shots to get great shots. When Giannis is not on the floor, we can see the Brook Lopez of old, a former all-star dominating the paint, play around the perimeter. But when you have Giannis back on the floor, remember, Giannis is handling the ball at the top of the key, and everyone else is what? They're spacing out, even Brook Lopez, so that's doing a disservice to him. But last night, Brook Lopez changed back the hands of times, like I said yesterday on the show. Chris Middleton showed us why he's a Batman in my eyes, because he almost notched a triple-double. He did it in every form and fashion. 26 points, 13 rebounds, down there with the trees, and 8 dimes. He was dishing that thing out everywhere. I just want to give my apology before this is segment in from Richard Jefferson for saying I was wrong when I was right the whole time. Trae Young not playing on the road hurts the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes.
We cannot get fooled by Game 4 because we all know role players play better at home. Superstars play better at home and on the road. So what do you have to say about that, Squidward?
Okay, I'll make it quick. The conversation.
You take as long as you need.
But Vince, I don't know if you were aware, but the conversation was this. Which one is a bigger impact? And I truly believe that Giannis's injury actually will impact who wins the NBA championship, where Trae Young might impact who wins this series. I think that is a very different thing. That's all I'm saying, Perk. But I don't think you needed to go down the line and call out every single producer. You could have just called out Carlos and left it there. You could have just called him out and just left everybody else out of it.
We love you, Carlos.
Love you, Carlos.
Look, I did think the point you made somewhere in there, like 8 minutes ago, Richard, about adjustments. It is interesting to me that you are right. It's certainly something the Milwaukee Bucks as a team were criticized for last year once they reached the playoffs, and that Bud has been tagged for in his career, again, going back to Atlanta. But the adjustment they made last night was not one of the adjustments that they then spent this entire season practicing, right? Because they were working on so many new things during the season and being more flexible as a team with their schemes, that's how they ended up being the 3rd seed instead of being the number 1 seed that they had been in previous years. Well, guess what? All of that practice is not what led to last night because they never practiced without Giannis, right? So it was interesting to me that they made this adjustment completely on the fly. And it talks about a mindset change in the Milwaukee Bucks that may be a little bit different than just some of the scheming changes that we've been talking about all season. I do want to get to the Hawks because your point.
I just want to say
one thing, go ahead, Vince.
real quick.
Yeah.
My only question is where do they go from here, though? That's my only question. If Giannis does play and come back, where do you go? How do you play now? Do you still feature Brook in the post? Because if you're featuring Brook in the post, if whoever is guarding so Capella, I'm like, please, I'm going to sag. Please, Giannis, shoot the 3 for me. That's settle for that. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see where do they go from here. Yeah, Giannis might not play Game 6. That might be a good thing for them. But if he plays, how do they respond, or how do they play from there?
I do think it's possible that the win last night bought Giannis an extra game to take off, some extra rest. Now, we don't know the specifics of his injury enough to know if they're even thinking in days. It might be a multi-week thing. It might be a longer thing. It might be a shorter thing. But if it is a day-to-day sort of situation, if you know you have Game 7 on your home floor, if you need it, and you look at the way the game went last night, you might be telling Giannis, okay, man, it's not critical. It's not do or die. Let's give it an extra couple days. Perhaps that's what's going on in Milwaukee. I do know in Atlanta, it is critical. They are on the brink of elimination. And you're talking about Trae Young being so important, guys. It was his 2nd straight game with that bone bruise in his foot. We saw him grimacing as he tested it out on the court before the game. So he just was not able to go. Perk, seeing as you have proclaimed from the mountaintop that Trae Young is everything to this team, how cautious should Atlanta be with their young superstar, especially since, and Vince, I'm sure you're going to chime in with this, we know Trae, if he can play, he's going to try to play. So what do you think the franchise should do in terms of his overall health?
Well, I think they should sit him out for the rest of the postseason. I mean, especially this series, for the simple fact he's 22 years old, right? It's going to be a short turnaround. You don't want to risk anything, any other type of injuries. On top of that, watching him in the pregame and watching him go through the little shoot around or pregame warm-ups, he was in pain. So I don't see a big difference in 48 hours that's going to help the situation. He's still going to be in pain for Game 6 if they test it out. So I will protect this young superstar by all means necessary. Right now, they overachieved, in my opinion. The Hawks have something to build on. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Trae Young, this was his coming out party. He put the world on notice. If they lose this series to the Bucks, no one would care. They would still get a Hawks Day flowers along with Trae Young. I would sit him out for the rest of this series.
I would say this. If we're in the fire as players, we're that close to an opportunity to play in the finals. You want to see what you can get out of him as the players, out of yourself if you're injured for Trae Young. So I say, I understand what you're saying, Perkins sitting him down. But my thing is, let's just see what 48 hours does for him. That's all I'm saying. And